Good afternoon, everyone. As I have been for the last several weeks, at the end of the week, I try to communicate with you on some of the things that have gone on during this week, as well as some of the trends as we continue to work our way through this health crisis. As many of you are now aware, I have made a public statement, press release, relative to the financial circumstances of the city of Niagara Falls as a result of the various business closures, the border closure, as well as anticipated revenues being reduced as a result of those executive order closures. Now, clearly, city government understands the importance of the public health, as well as the necessity to, as you've heard said, flatten the curve. On that issue, I know that the recent numbers indicate that there are over 100 cases, 100 positive cases of COVID-19 in the city of Niagara Falls. That is more than double of any other location in the county of Niagara. And so, as expected, the city of Niagara Falls is really the front line of this disease. I can tell you that my communications directly with the administration at Memorial Medical Center as we continue to look for funding for the hospital and protection for the healthcare workers is ongoing. We are doing all we can here in City Hall to support the frontline workers, the healthcare people, because we know that that's our best effort in trying to make sure that we keep the entire community safe and healthy. As it relates to our finances here in the city, we have been spending several weeks examining ways in which we can, in fact, reduce expenses in order to prevent some even more difficult choices going forward with regard to services. And we'll continue to do that once we have what we believe to be a comprehensive plan. We will obviously be making that available to the public. Currently, we are going through a different variety of scenarios in order to be able to determine what we best can project as far as revenue reductions are concerned. We aren't alone in this. I have signed on to a letter from the New York State Mayor's Conference asking for help as local governments continue to struggle all across the state. I've had the opportunity as well to take part in and sign on with the United States Conference of Mayors, again asking for congressional assistance as an aid bill continues to be debated with regard to state and local governments. And yesterday I delivered to the President of the United States a direct request for the city of Niagara Falls. He is familiar with our city, having visited here, and I implore him, as I do our representatives, to remember that local government is the foundation for all of the small businesses, all of the other entities that exist in our community. Without the support and strength of local government, many of the essential services simply can't be delivered. So my hope is that not only individually but also collectively with regard to these state and federal associations of mayors, that we'll be able to impress upon our representatives the need for some assistance to get us through this difficult revenue reduction. Finally, there are a variety of venues throughout the city of Niagara Falls that continue to be closed and at least for the foreseeable future will continue under that order. Some, however, as a result of the loosening of some conditions from the state, we are examining to determine when they can safely open again, namely boat docks as well as our golf course. Those conversations continue so that if and when we are able to do that, we can do it in a safe and responsible manner. As you know, the most important thing that we can do going forward is to individually participate in the appropriate public safety and public health restrictions. Again, as I've said several times over the course of these few weeks, these aren't polite suggestions, and they're not necessarily designed to make sure that you yourself don't contract this virus, although they're helpful, but they're also helpful with regard to the transmission of it. We learned just the other day that based upon the sample taken by the state, that almost 3 million New Yorkers have had this virus and have worked their way independently without the need for medical assistance to recovery. Now, what that tells us is that clearly in our community, there will be those who may be contagious and they may not know it. That's the reason for the masks. That's the reason to wear them when you are in public or when you are in locations where social distancing can't be respected. So again, it isn't simply about you. It's really about the people who you care about, being able to protect them as well. And so it's important for you to take that seriously. Finally, as many have, and I've received the phone calls and I've received all of the requests in a variety of different formats for me to be available for television and or other media opportunities. Rest assured that every time the opportunity presents itself for me to be available to local television stations, radio stations, I make myself available. Unfortunately, this is not a crisis that's hitting only Niagara Falls, and so there's an awful lot of news to report, and there are a number of communities that have a story to tell. When I am requested, I will make myself available for media. As a consequence of that, and the fact that I know that that's not going to happen on a regular basis, I am doing this for the community so that those who are able to access this information can hear from me exactly what's happening here in City Hall. We're working every day to make sure that the workers who continue to perform services for the city are safe. We are taking all the steps necessary to make sure that to the best of our ability we keep the public safe. We're asking the public for their cooperation and assistance, and now we are also beginning to confront how we are going to handle the delicate issue of our finances over the short term as well as for the future. So I would ask you to just remember, please, first of all, be patient. Recognize that we're all hoping that we can open everything up right away. I'll be participating in regional conversations with regard to how Western New York and the Niagara region reopen their economy, and I'm looking forward to that. I intend to express the importance of the northern border and the bridge to Canada and how important that is to the city of Niagara Falls and to our economy. That's something that obviously I'm hoping in my correspondence to the President he recognizes as important for cities like Niagara Falls. So I can tell you that we are remaining active here at City Hall, doing all that we can to, again, protect the public relative to the virus, keep essential services moving, as well as plan for the future and the fiscal strain that this virus has placed upon the city. I'd ask you again, as I've asked many times, please be safe, do those things that are necessary for you to keep yourself and your families safe, and please, please stay well. Thank you.